when I'm feeling lonely, sad as I can be. Don't have a flaw, my shiny teeth and you. Shiny teeth. Shout out to Chip Skylark. Chip, I don't know what happened to your career. I don't know in that world what happened because we haven't seen Timmy Turner in a minute. You look like Timmy Turner today.
Thank you. I have a pink hat on.
That's true. That's why I'm saying that. You don't look animated. You don't have buck teeth, and there aren't fairy godparents.
Oh my gosh! That's like Timmy. Yeah.
Cosmo. No.
When you're having a bad day, all you want to do is have a laugh. Well, here's a treat for you. The boys are here, and we can't wait to turn your day from gross to great. We're the Soy Boys. Soy great.
I hate it so much. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Soy Boys, the podcast. My name is Paul.
My name is Nicholas.
My name is
Paul.
My name is
Nicholas.
Together we are the
Soy Boys.
Shout out to
No.
Peanut M&Ms.
What?
That's an Eminem song. My name is. My name is.
Oh, I thought you were going for my name is no. My number is no. No.
I'm not going for that because I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's Meghan Trainor.
Oh, into the
No.
I only know that because Pentatonics covered it.
Classic. PTX.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Soy Boys, the podcast. This is the podcast where we cook and talk, but we don't necessarily talk about cooking, even though tonight we're both making things that we're really comfortable with, so we probably could walk you through it. But instead, we're just going to banter. What's on your menu tonight, Nicholas Jessup?
You know, you said this is something that we both made before, but I've actually never made this.
You've made the constituent components.
Right. I'm making a breakfast burrito. I've done breakfast tacos before. I think the difference
is the wrapping.
No, I'm adding potatoes.
Wrapping. I love Hamilton. Sorry.
I'm adding potatoes this time.
Where are your potatoes?
They're in the fridge because they're my leftovers from last week.
Tip for you listening at home, if you're cooking along, use what's in your fridge so you don't have to throw it out.
Yeah.
At me in college.
I'm gonna use these kitty scissors to cut my bacon.
Why do we have scissors that are the size of Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah, right. Really uncomfortable.
Why?
I don't know. It just
the word scissors.
No.
All right.
No, Paul. No.
Listen.
Using these scissors to cut this bacon.
Using the scissors. I thought you were saying the conversation made you really uncomfortable.
No.
I didn't know why that would be.
Cutting bacon with these scissors makes me uncomfortable.
We have regular adult-sized scissors.
I don't care. I've committed to it at this point.
All right, buddy. You could use this cutting board that I'm currently not chopping garlic on.
Yeah, well, you have a shit ton of onions on there, so...
That's true. That's true. I'm making, shout out to my dear friend Sarah for showing me this pasta recipe. It's basically just a really simple, amazing way to enhance and brighten up any jarred pasta sauce. So honestly, I'm making spaghetti and meat sauce, or maybe I'm making penne. I'll decide because I have both.
I love episode 1 of the Soy Boys.
I love episode. That's not what I made. Oh, you made linguine.
I made linguine.
Sure. This is going to be different from what you did
because it's going to be actually like.
It's going to be actually like a thing.
Food.
Sure. But I mean, yours was good. I think any sort of like boiled pasta with a jarred sauce is going to be good inherently. That was most of what I ate in college. That and those episode 1 tacos. But this is just a way to brighten it up a little bit if you have a little more time. Episode 1 we were a little Episode 1 we were a little more focused on content, I think.
Yeah.
So great. What's on your mind today? Once again, this is a day where we've spent most of it together. We did go to Trader Joe's together today.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
What is on my mind? Well, but right before we started before we started recording, I was watching a documentary.
Ooh.
It's a Netflix documentary, Abducted in Plain Sight.
I've heard a lot about that. Is it terrifying? Is it good?
It's not terrifying. It's very interesting. It's about a pedophile.
Well, that's great. I think they should know. I'm not going to continue that joke.
I'm glad. I don't want to know what the end was.
It wasn't going to be true or like how I think at all. Anyway.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting.
I'm glad.
And
couldn't be happier.
I think I have like 30 minutes left in it.
Is it just one part?
Yeah, it's just like a featured length documentary.
I started watching the Ted Bundy thing like a week or so ago, but it's so many parts and I just couldn't commit to it.
I want to like have a day where I can watch it.
Yeah. You know what is a great like true crime thing on Netflix? It's a 4-part documentary series. They're each like 45 minutes long, called Evil Genius, I think.
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's so good.
For those of you who haven't seen it, it's investigating this crazy, like, crime ring murder, the collar bomb murderer, like, or no, it was a guy who had been, like, forced to rob a bank, and then suddenly he was outside of a gas station with a collar bomb strapped around his neck. And then this guy making this documentary said, there's a lot more that was never solved in this. I'm going to look into it on my own. And in making the documentary over several years, he solved the case, which is just crazy. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Just go watch it. Shout out to Netflix, honestly.
Yeah.
For being maybe the greatest content streaming platform that isn't Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Stitcher.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what is on my mind today?
What is on your mind, Paul?
Have you seen the trailer for the movie Yesterday?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh my! It's one of the only times in my life I've ever seen a trailer and thought, this could easily become my new favorite movie.
What is it about?
So it's about this dude who is a musician in England, and he's struggling to find gigs, and he's like, it's just not going well for him. Mm-hmm. And he gets in some sort of accident, and he goes into a coma, and he wakes up in a world where nobody knows who the Beatles are. And like, he wakes up, and somebody gives him a guitar. This is all in the trailer. Somebody gives him a guitar as like a get well soon present. And he's with a bunch of his friends, and he starts playing Yesterday, the song. Uh-huh. And they're like, that's beautiful. When did you write that? And he says, I didn't write it. The Beatles wrote it. And they say, who? So it's very clear in the trailer, it's all about him in a world where there are no Beatles, and he's a struggling musician. He's the only one who knows their music, and he knows it by heart. He basically takes all of their songs and in this alternate universe makes them his own. It's a fascinating idea.
That's so interesting.
It's this new guy, I don't remember his name, but it's this new guy I've never seen before playing the lead role. Lily James is in it. Love Mamma Mia, here we go again.
Never
James
seen it.
Corden and Ed Sheeran are in it as themselves. It's amazing. So I'm definitely going to see that as soon as it comes out.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
It's fascinating. So that's what's on my mind. I watched that trailer. I've seen it a few times. I watched it literally right before we started recording. Not literally right before, because I was doing dishes right before. But you get the idea.
Yes, exactly.
What are you working on over at the stove there, Nicholas?
I am just cooking up some bacon.
Honestly, a true passion of mine.
Same. This is the second time I've cooked up bacon on the show.
Sure.
First time was in episode 4...
3, 2,
1. Good.
We have a good time here at the Soy Boys podcast. What is this plate for? Can I put it away? Oh, you were...
it had raw bacon on it.
Can I put it in the sink then?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to figure out the order in which I'm doing this. I've made this recipe a few times. Once again, shout out to Sarah for telling me not only how to do this recipe, but also that it's very customizable. And I'm adding some ground turkey to it this time to make like a pseudo meat sauce. I'm trying to figure out if I should do that before sauteing the onions and garlic. I'm gonna put it all in at the same time and like brown the turkey and then... Okay, I answered my own question. Everybody, relax. Can I get in here?
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're soy welcome.
Actually, I'm gonna wash my hands and get this garlic smell. Your baby scissors are in the sink.
They need to be washed.
They do, because there was raw bacon. It's a travesty. We're having a good time. We're having a good time today. Trader Joe's was fun today.
It was. It was more busy than I thought it would be.
Yeah, on a Monday afternoon.
On a Monday afternoon, but
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I love Big Mouth.
What you gonna do when it all falls down?
That was Coach Steve mixed with Carol Channing?
Yeah, no, kiddies. Name that musical, by the way.
Oh, that's West Side Story?
Sorry, it's Leap of
I already
Faith.
did West Side Story.
It's okay. You haven't done it today. You did it weeks ago.
I know.
Wow, your bacon is on the stove.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Great. Okay.
I'm
gonna add my turkey first. I'm gonna turn this
Cool.
pan on.
Good plan. I am going to have to pause mid-cook. I was hoping to do this one pan, but we're getting a lot of stickage.
You're getting a lot of fond.
A lot of fond.
Are you going to deglaze that pan at all?
I'm not, because I don't think this is the kind of fond you want to make
Breakfast burritos
a
with.
breakfast burrito.
You're also not doing like a full-fledged sauce here.
Right. Yeah. I think we had this exact same conversation when I made the breakfast casserole,
I think so. I think it's fun. We're having a good time.
Yeah, I'm pretty fond of that.
So anyway, okay, you're taking a break from cooking.
Yeah, once this bacon's done, which we're getting pretty close. I like super, super crispy bacon. Especially like in a breakfast burrito where there's going to be eggs and potatoes. Like,
oh yeah, get that crunch.
You want some crunch, some texture.
You want some crunch.
Some crunch.
What am I doing? What year is it? Okay.
It is,
I wasn't asking.
1886.
1886. Reconstruction. A lot of presidents with weird facial hair.
Still true.
Shout out to Miss Glover, my AP US history teacher. You were the best. Sorry I didn't do my homework. So honest, I should have. It was a bad year for me. I wasn't getting enough sleep. It was enough that I was just showing up to school. It was a great time. We'll talk about high school later episode. We do have questions though.
Yeah. Let me. We can dive into those. Give me just one second. So. I'm gonna take this bacon out of the pan.
Great. I'm just melting some butter, which honestly is a favorite pastime of mine. There's so much butter.
Melting butter, frying bacon. That's all you really need to do in life.
There's a Cards Against Humanity expansion pack, a recent one, and one of the white cards in it, or which are the ones that like you submit to the person? White cards or black cards?
Those are the white cards.
There's one white card that says a whole thing of butter. And it's real funny.
That is real funny.
And Sarah read that card at New Year's Eve, so now when I think of butter, I think of my friend Sarah.
Aw, Sarah. Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to answer some questions?
Yes, but the problem is that we didn't write them down this episode. They're on your phone, so I'm going to need you to tell the people
absolutely
what's up.
I'm going to... one moment.
Yeah, buddy. I'm just going to add some ground turkey to this pan. It's just going to be ground turkey and butter.
That's okay.
I believe...
Okay, so both of today's questions come from Adam M.
Adam M.
Or Rex_Tano.
It's pronounced Tano.
Edit that out. It's Rex_Tano.
No, it's fine. That's a Star Wars reference, I think. I think it's a reference to, like, the Star Wars novels. Something, like, serious that is more than just the movies.
Right. Give me, actually, intermission while I wash this pan.
I'm gonna put this meat right here. All right, we're just cooking some ground turkey over here, adding some meat flavor to this butter. And anytime I have butter, I think the thing this is missing is some kind of meat flavor. Ideally, some kind of deconstructed poultry.
Deconstructed poultry? Is that another band?
Yeah. Jared Jones left Ambiguous Sauce. After they changed their name to Ambiguous Sauce from Every Ambiguous Sauce Ever. It was just long for a marquee, Yeah. Shout out to Jersey Boys. It's a little long for a marquee. Francis Castelluccio. I'm a big Jersey Boys fan.
I've never seen Jersey Boys, never listened to it.
I saw the Toronto cast with my mom.
Shout out to Janet.
Lisa. We do love The Good Place. At some point in the future, there has to be a supercut of every time we say we love something on this show, because boy, does it happen a lot.
Oh, we... Just wait till we,
Wait till season 6.
Wait till season 6, yeah. Okay, so...
Oh, I smell those onions. I can smell something.
Oh, you're getting some nice color on there.
I am.
Okay, so this first question comes from Adam
M. The biggest Miami Dolphins and Star Wars Wars fan on the planet.
Okay, he says, if you were to choose any Sorry, I just read question 2 and I had a thought. Okay, anyway, question 1. If you were to choose any show to be in currently running on Broadway or off-Broadway or off-Broadway, which would it be and why?
Okay, so let's add some stipulations to this. Choose, like, we can just join the cast right now.
Yes.
How long are we in this show?
Let's say it's like a vacation contract. Like you're in for like 2 or 3 months. 2 or 3 months. Yeah. That's
a vacation. That's longer than almost any run of any show I've ever done.
Same.
So any show currently running on Broadway, off-Broadway, or off-Broadway.
So do we want to say like, we can't pick like regional, because then it's just like, what's your dream show,
Yeah, and Great Comet isn't running anywhere. I don't think it's running in Japan.
Right, but like Into the Woods is happening everywhere.
Yeah, sure. Michael in the bathroom.
Michael in the bathroom.
Wow, okay. This is one of the first instances of me not knowing a question before it's asked live on air.
Oh, yeah.
So I gotta think about it. Do you have any thoughts here?
I mean, I know what mine is.
You know what yours is?
Well, I have a tie. Okay. Not really a tie. Right now, if I could choose something right now, it would be Dear Evan Hansen.
Right. I mean, it's running, and it's going to run for a long time.
Yeah, like 5 years from now, Book of Mormon.
Sure.
But like right in this instant, Dear Evan Hansen.
Book of Mormon is one of those shows, I mean, we've talked about this before. I don't know if we've talked about it on the show. For me, as a baritone who could technically be in that show, it's a terrifying sing. Mm-hmm. We're just going to deglaze this pan with a little red wine. So your choice is, do you have any, I mean, it's a pretty obvious. You want to play Heidi Hansen?
I know. Dream roll.
Wow, that song makes me cry.
In class, a woman sang that song for the first class, and I was literally tearing up in the front row.
So this isn't a class just for Evans, it's a class for the show.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like, there were Heidis, there were...
Cynthia's.
There were 2 Cynthias. There was...
Cynthia, Jesus died for our sins,
I was like, I know what that is.
Do you know it?
I do.
So name that movie.
Do you want me to actually name that
No,
movie?
of course
okay. That would be,
Are you kidding me?
No, I can't think of any movies.
Movie?
Call Me By Your Name.
Sorry, it's Clockwork Orange. You got that C, though. Call Me By Your Name, Clockwork Orange. For a second, I thought you were making popcorn because it's a covered thing.
There was still some water in there, and
Right.
so we're covering it because it has to evaporate.
We gotta do it. Okay, so any show... So we're keeping this New York. Mm-hmm. What's the name of the mom from that 70s show who is currently doing a show?
Kitty?
Well, yeah.
The character. I don't know her name.
Well, she's doing a one-woman show, and
That's the sequel to Call Me By Your Name. I don't know her name.
I don't know her name.
It's about lesbians.
You're so funny today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Soy much?
Branding? I'm gonna...
Okay, the water's all gone, so now the potatoes going in.
Okay.
Oh, that is some hot oil.
I could pick any show. Man, this is difficult. It's difficult for me because I've got to narrow down the list of shows currently running on Broadway that have roles for me.
Mm-hmm. Am I gonna really have to watch this fucking pan again?
Did you?
The answer
Oh,
is
that was
yes.
the one you were just watching.
Yep.
Look at this beauty right here. Beauty everywhere. Name that musical.
Sunday in the Park with George.
Leap of Faith. Did
I
I just say Leap
you
of Faith?
just said Leap of Faith.
I just said Leap of Faith. We're having a good time, having a good time, having a good time, having a good time. So we're talking musicals. Is that that might be a lid that I need actually? Wait, no.
I almost burned my arm hair.
Are you okay, buddy?
I just
Did you
put my
die?
arm over an exposed flame. It's fine.
Did you die? We are exposed flame. No, this is the right lid.
Are you sure? It's very much not the right lid. I think these share a lid.
Is that okay? Will that work for you?
It's fine.
Are you sure? Because this has to cover and simmer for a while.
Yeah, cover and simmer.
Okay, so I'm gonna let this come to a boil.
I'm just letting this steam for a couple moments.
Letting it steam. Shout back.
Shout back.
Shoutback Steakhouse.
Shoutback Steakhouse.
Bum. We are full of it today.
We are.
Because we've been around each other since early. Not
By early, we mean 1:30.
Yeah.
What's your pick for a musical?
I'm struggling to pick one because... You know what I'm going to pick? I'm
What?
going to pick the revival of My Fair Lady. Because something I discovered, actually, in our contract, being in the ensemble of a show like Hello Dolly, is that something I really enjoy doing is being in the character part of an ensemble. Mm-hmm. Something I don't have a lot of experience doing, but man, I really, really loved it. I'm also choosing, by the way, that I'm going to do penne and meat sauce.
Great.
So I can do spaghetti and meatballs later down the line, because I just feel like that's better.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the ensemble of My Fair Lady because boy does that show look incredible. I love it. I did the show. I played Colonel Pickering in high school. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I would love to just be a drunk Englishman and sing Getting Married in the Morning behind Danny Burstein. That just sounds...
Who doesn't want to do that?
That's, I mean, apparently, because that's not what you picked, but...
Okay. So my potatoes, I'm gonna say, are done.
I'm going to go ahead and boil this water. Okay, where I am in my recipe is I have cooked my ground turkey and I have... You were struggling.
It's
Struggles to funk. Shout out to John.
We're just gonna clean this pan again.
That's fine. Panigan. Miss Panigan.
Miss Panigan? Norm, if you're listening, how do you have a high C? Why do you have a high C? Norm.
Oh, I love him so much. He's so talented, it makes me angry. Okay, what I'm gonna do is... I'm
gonna try and scrape off as many bits as I can.
I hate bits. I'm gonna put this turkey, since I have a second at the stove. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I didn't like doing that on the...
Remember that we do have steel wool by the sink.
Yeah, I'm just getting the tough ones so I can dump them in the trash.
Sure. Looking for some good stuff, baby. What were we talking about before we started talking about Norm Lewis and Danny Bernstein?
Picking our one show.
Picking our one show. Yeah, My Fair Lady. I love it. Despite the inherent sexism of the relationship between Higgins and Eliza, which I've heard is treated a little bit better in this revival.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love it. I love the music, and I love what the character ensemble gets to do in that show. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be my pick, because I'm not ready, as a performer, to have a principal track on Broadway in anything that's currently running. Maybe I'm ready as a performer. I'm not ready emotionally.
Oh, we have fun.
I also heard, though, that Marvelous Wonderettes is coming back to Off-Broadway. I think you and I should audition for that.
That's all women, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I got the joke.
A little joke. A little bit of comedy for you. So to sum it up here, Adam, our answers are Dear Evan Hansen for Nicholas and the revival of My Fair Lady for me. Also a big fan of Laura Benanti. And I'm also a big fan of how open she is about her performer struggles on social media. I think that's really, really admirable, because it's hard to be open about the things you struggle with in your profession, I think, for anybody. Especially if you're in the public eye. And in the past few years, she has really skyrocketed. I'm just going to get into this.
I think
Oh my god. That was almost a disaster. But because she's doing the Melania thing on Stephen Colbert, she has a lot bigger presence on social media than she did when she was doing Gypsy 11 years ago. Yeah. So I really admire that. And even if I got to like take a rose from her in the beginning of the show, that would be an honor. Do you want to take a second and finish watching that pan, and we can move on to the next question?
Yes. There's
a lot of fond.
There's a lot of fond.
We'll take a second.
I'm not fond of this fond.
You're funny.
Thank you so much. I like how we always say we're going to take a break, and then we just say talking. Brilliance.
Well, we're both, and it's not like this podcast is a fake friendship. We're going to take a break from our job, this podcast, and that means if we're in the same kitchen, we don't have to talk to each other, because boy, is that a chore.
What if we just stopped talking to each other? We just were in silence. We're like, say it for the podcast. This is what it would be like.
Yeah! Oh, we have fun. Okay, I'm gonna steal some of your water and add it to my pan, because
there's just one little bit. Okay, we are washed over here, folks, so now I get to throw everything back in the pan and throw in some eggs.
Ooh, that looks good. That looks so good. Nikki!
Wally!
You did it!
Wally!
You did it! Nikki! I love Coach Steve. Okay, so I'm honestly just waiting for my water to boil. Oh, I should be stirring my sauce.
Always stir your sauce, kids.
Yeah. Especially if you're like simmering it for a while, just to make sure that no one's sticking to the bottom of the pan. Ooh, look at that. We're just kind of reducing this because there's a lot of liquid in here from the melted butter and the runoff from the meat and from the sauce itself. And eventually we're going to be adding pasta water and cream to this. So I just want to make sure that it has enough time to reduce.
Yes.
And become really thick. Because that's the beautiful thing about this sauce. It tastes like an intensified pasta sauce. Because you just add that to it.
Yeah.
Should we take another question from our dear friend Adam M?
We should. Adam M, his second question, I'm going to pull it up. I know what it is. I'm just going to pull it up to get the exact wording.
Verbatim. Because we're all about representation on this show. We want to represent our questioners accurately.
Yeah,
If they're providing a cue, we want to be there with the A.
Yeah, exactly. So the cue...
Yes.
Steam train. So Adam M asks, what is your favorite Star Wars character and why?
Oh man, okay, this is something that Adam and I have talked about at length.
Jar Jar Binks.
R2-D2.
That was a lie.
Are you okay?
I'm not actually. I just think if anyone ever said Jar Jar Binks, they would be punched in the nose.
Honestly, if Adam is still listening after you said that, before you said you were kidding, I would be very surprised. I could see him screenshotting however many minutes in and saying, you lost me with Jar Jar.
It was a joke, Adam.
Because, do you remember when episode 7 was coming out and everyone was predicting that, like before we really knew anything about it, everyone was predicting that Jar Jar would be the main antagonist because of the theory that he's a Sith Lord. I subscribe to that theory. Adam does not.
You still subscribe to it?
I think so. I've only seen each of the prequels one time, and I'm not looking to change that anytime soon, because they weren't great. But Revenge of the Sith was really good. And he had one moment, I don't remember in which of the episodes, where he had this crazy jump that I think could only be done by someone who has access to the Force. Once again, I don't have a lot of...
Or totally if he's a glug-glug, whatever, Gargan...
A tauntaun?
Is that what he is?
No. What are you... What?
What's his race?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. That was like a glug-glug or something.
Sorry, what are you doing?
I need to grease this pan.
That's okay, you just pour some oil on it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Do you want some butter instead?
Nope. We've already committed.
Cool.
I love that. The answer is yes, I wish I did use butter, but we already used.
I asked you mid-pour.
Who is my favorite? Okay, as a kid, my favorite character was always Mace Windu.
Oh, yes.
Just because of the color of his lightsaber.
He has a purple lightsaber.
He has a purple lightsaber, and that's so freaking cool.
Also, we love Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
In everything.
In everything.
Especially in Kingsman. Have you seen Kingsman?
Yes. I saw the first one, not the second one.
Same. I started to watch the second one on a plane, and it just seemed like the same thing. Which is great, but like...
Why?
Come on. Yeah.
That's what I've heard, and that kind of makes me want to see it still.
Wait. What am I going to use to... I can just use this. This is fine. Okay, so Mace Windu as a kid, where do you sit now?
I'm not... Like, Star Wars isn't my thing. I've seen the movies.
Right.
And they were fine.
Have you seen all 8 of them? Have you seen Rogue One? Have you seen Solo?
I have not seen the .5s.
Cool.
And I haven't seen, like, any of the animated stuff.
Right. But you've seen the main 8.
I've seen the main 8.
That's all you need, really.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam, who's seen everything and read everything and played every game.
I tried reading one of the books when I was, like, 9.
How did that go for you?
I don't like reading, so not well.
Oh, wow. I feel like the font is just kind of coming up on its own here. I'm interested in how this is going to end up. I might have put too much wine in this. Actually, every time I make this sauce, I always worry about it, and then it always turns out fine.
It'll probably just need to reduce for, like, a long time.
Reduce your juice, kids.
Reduce your juice.
So are you sticking with Mace Windu then? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think I will.
Okay. I mean, that purple... He is, of the main characters in the movies... Wow, that's a lot of egg.
Oh, I know it.
Okay. Do you have a plan for your tortilla? Are you going to steam it?
I'm going to, like, fry it.
Okay. I'm just thinking about, like, making it easier to
wrap. I'm going to make 2.
2 smaller burritos.
Two smaller burritos.
Because that's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But you're good. You're doing great. Oh, my water's boiling. I'm going to put in my...
Pasta.
Penne rigate. Hi, future Nick. Nick edits these episodes if we haven't made that clear enough yet. And I just want to thank him for everything he does on the show. Because he does the social media, too.
Happy to do it, buddy.
Honestly, I just record the episode and I send it to him.
Paul's head writer, so...
Yeah, this is a scripted show after all. We're putting our pasta in, we're putting our pasta in, we're putting our pasta in. We're immediately going to turn down the temperature and give it a little bit of a stir. We're going to just kind of undercook this pasta so we can finish cooking it in the sauce.
Make 3 burritos. Because the tortillas are tiny.
My favorite Star Wars character is R2-D2. And that's because when I was a kid, I didn't watch Star Wars. I watched A New Hope once with my dad and sister and my Aunt Lisa, who's a big Star Wars fan. And I didn't retain a lot of it. I think I was like 11 when we watched it. And I was like, this is Star Wars. And that's about it.
This is Star Wars.
I love Childish Gambino. This is Star Wars. Don't let you slip it up. And then, when Force Awakens was about to come out, I had to take a second to remove the title. I watched the other ones with my roommates because they had all seen all of them, and I needed to catch up because this was a big thing I was not going to miss. And I think it's an episode... It's at the beginning of either Phantom Menace or Revenge of the Sith. I'm sorry, all of my Star Wars fans out there. I'm sorry, mostly Adam. But there's a moment where there's an action sequence at the beginning of one of the movies. This is not a spoiler if you haven't seen it. Also, if you haven't seen it, it's Star Wars.
There's stars and they fight.
There's a moment where R2-D2 is in like a combat situation and he squirts some oil on the ground and then uses some part of his body to light it on fire and get away from his attacker. And I loved robots as a kid. I didn't know anything about how they worked, but I wanted to be a robot. I thought robots were the coolest things in the world. The first character I played in Super Smash Bros. Was Samus because I thought he was a robot, and I also didn't know that he was a she at the time because I've never played a Metroid game. But when R2-D2 did that, I felt like I was 7 years old again and watching a robot do an awesome thing, and that cemented that R2-D2 as my favorite character because that's the coolest thing I've ever seen combat-wise in any movie in like a unique way.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it. I love it. Also, I mean, I love Han Solo. Han Solo's great. And I love
He is
Yoda.
great, yeah.
Yoda's great. All of the new characters are so dynamic and cool, and I love what Leia has become in the episodes 7 and 8. She's just such a cool character, and
Yeah.
Finn is just so like relatable, and I'm really rooting for Rey. I'm like, oh, where's your parents? You know, even though I know.
Who's your mom?
Episode 8, we all know.
I forget.
It's okay.
Anyway,
Star Wars. It was one of the things that I watched a lot of not Star Wars type things growing up, and then I feel like we're in this a superhero movie renaissance right now.
yeah.
And sci-fi is like cool, and I mean, we're definitely not the first people to talk about this, but I am proud to be a fan of Star Wars now. I didn't really know a lot of fans of Star Wars as a kid because I didn't talk about it with them because I wasn't a Star Wars fan. And
Sure.
now I am one.
Great.
I'm gonna stir this
I'm
pasta
not going to do anything with these tortillas because they are about
to explode.
to explode.
That might be a fork and knife kind of situation. But honestly, if you let them sit there, because Nick has filled his tortillas now, and they're now sitting fold down, they're more like breakfast wraps.
Yeah.
It's okay though. I mean, they're going
It's
to be
fine.
great.
I didn't have like burrito tortillas, so
Well,
I
I
couldn't
did.
make a
I have one flour tortilla, or a few.
like one like flour tortilla.
Not a huge one.
Is it like one of these ones?
Yeah,
Oh well.
that's fine. I also love a whole wheat tortilla, or like a whole wheat wrap.
Love whole wheat tortillas from Trader Joe's.
We love Trader Joe's. Shout out to Colin S. Favorite place to shop in New York is Trader Joe's.
I'm just eating my food now.
I think you can. I have a long way to go in this recipe. Great.
Should we intermission? Will you finish?
Yes, sure.
Great.
All right, so we're picking up, and I'm just shaving. It's going everywhere. Shaving some pecorino romano on top of my pasta. Feel free to take some, Nick.
Oh, I am.
Cool. I don't know if I've talked about this on this show, but I always have, my whole life, have underestimated the true value of freshly shaved cheese, or like freshly grated for anything you're doing. And only recently have I started to realize how much better it is. Do you know why bagged shredded cheese is not as good as freshly
They
shaved?
coat it in some sort of starch.
Potato starch.
Yeah.
That's why if you're making a pizza at home with bagged mozzarella cheese, it's not going to melt.
Right.
It's still fine. Like, I trust
It'll
me.
melt a little bit.
It'll melt. It'll do the job.
Yeah, but it's not gonna like melt.
No. Melt. It's not going to melt, Andrew.
It's not gonna melt.
It's not going to melt, Andrew. So my thing is done. I have yet to taste it. I'm going to taste it actually right now.
I think you should. I ate one of my burritos while Paul was cooking.
So if you see the picture on Instagram, it's 2 burritos, but he made 3.
Yes.
Do with that information what you will. It's always good. It's always so good because it's a fail-safe recipe. Once again, shout out to my dear friend Sarah, because without you, I'd still be doing my old pasta stuff. Postmortem. Postmortem is the part of the show where we talk about what we learned cooking, positives and negatives. Nicholas, lay it on me, my dude.
So, okay, negatives. I'm gonna start with negatives, bring back up to positives.
Sure.
I had so much trouble with the pan. I
You
greased
did.
it every time. I think the pan just doesn't like the cooking that I was doing.
I think maybe it was on too high of heat.
That could also do it.
Because that's what I've discovered. These are non-stick pans we're cooking with. If you are subletters listening to this, I promise they're in good shape still, but we're struggling a little
we
using
clean them off every time.
Yes.
It's fine. It's just like
It's hard to cook with them
yeah.
because they're not non-stick, and high heat will be a problem there.
Yeah. So I just had some problem with the pans, but like it turned out fine.
Sure.
My positive, I haven't added potatoes. I can't go back. It adds well. Normally it's like just egg and bacon,
Which is great.
Which is great, but
But-
it has no texture.
Right.
And the potatoes add like at least some sort of like meaty
Something.
texture, so that it's not just like mushy eggs. And
Mushy eggs and crispy bacon.
Not even crispy bacon because it's cooked in the eggs, so it's still like kind of mushy.
They're like the same texture.
Yeah, it's just like a tortilla with some mush in it.
I saw that you bought salsa today.
I did buy salsa.
You considered putting salsa with this.
It scares me.
I don't mean like in with the eggs and everything. I mean like a dollop on top. If you're already, I don't know if is this a fork and knife situation for you.
No, this is not going to be a fork and knife situation.
So never mind. Or you could have like a little small thing of it. I'm just want to make sure that you know that the options are available. You can do whatever
I
you
think
want.
I would be willing to experiment if I had like an actual burrito that was like wrapped so everything wouldn't fall out.
You don't want it to fall out, boy. Shout out to Patrick Stump's hat in 2005, and shout out to Jerry Jones.
Yeah, what's he doing? He's
they broke up. The band broke up. Not Fall Out Boy. Ambiguous Sauce broke up. Follow that saga.
What did you learn today, Paul?
I learned that sometimes it's okay to cook with a recipe. Even though I didn't use a recipe today, let me tell you what I'm talking about. I don't like using recipes. This is something we talked about on our live stream, our Facebook Live videos of the olden days.
Yes.
And I don't like using recipes just because I don't like having another ball in the air, like being a piece of paper or being my phone while I have active ingredients cooking. But the first time I did this, I used a recipe, and it wasn't like throw a half cup of sliced onions and throw this much butter in there. It was just the ingredients and the order, and like I've had pasta with sauce before. I know what it should look like. So I used a recipe the first time, and it was so intuitive of a recipe that I have just committed it to memory, and I didn't measure a single thing.
Right.
You saw me.
I did see.
You saw me.
I saw.
I didn't measure a single thing. So my post-mortem thought here is sometimes it's okay to use a recipe, and sometimes it's okay to not if you know what that recipe is.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a hard and fast rule about whether or not you should use a recipe.
Right.
And that's my thought, Nicholas.
I love your brain.
I grew up myself.
Oh, wow. So with that, folks, we are going to wrap it up for this week.
Are you ready to eat?
I'm
ready to eat. I'm
really
hungry.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. You take it, please.
We like to end this the same way that we started, which is, I don't know.
We're just throwing words at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Spaghetti.
Actually, that's not the best way to tell if your pasta's done. Honestly, just taste it.
Yep. Anyway,
thank you for listening to the Soy Boys, the podcast. Cook brave.
We're the Soy Boys. Soy great.